Welcome again. Today we look at topic 5.3 once again, but this time looking at the skill construction of dichotomous keys for use in identifying specimens. Before we can look though at how to construct the key and how to use it, we have to ask the question, why do we even need these things called dichotomous keys? So, to set the context and to understand why we actually need to have something called a dichotomous key, let's look at this scenario. Once upon a time, a creative and innovative farmer decided to convert his pig farm into fish farming or aquaculture. Now, aquaculture can take many different forms. It can happen near to the ocean, in the ocean, but it could also happen on farmland like this, where ponds are created to keep fish, and from time to time the fish are harvested. So the farmer decided that he wanted to do that because he felt it would be more efficient to produce food from aquatic organisms than from terrestrial organisms like pigs. But he did not stop his pig farming entirely, however. He continued to keep some pigs. So one day he observed that the waste runoff from one of his pig pens was going into one of the aquaculture ponds. The farmer reflected and decided to let this continue. He wanted to see the effect it would have on the pond. 10 days passed and he noticed the buildup of a mat of green scum. Now the farmer, he was once an IB biology student, so he was a problem solver. He was a thinker, so he reflected on the possibility of converting his fish pond into algae farms, and he hypothesized that algae could be a very good source of animal feedstock. He decided to do some research, and he found this webpage here. He then contacted one of his old classmates from IB Biology, who happens to be a biology professor at a university in another country, and he wanted his old classmate to help him identify if this algae was suitable for use as an animal feedstock. He knew nothing about algae besides the fact that it's a green scum on his pond. His friend was ready to identify it, but he asked for some images. The farmer borrowed this microscope from his daughter's high school and collected the data. He took a sample and looked at it with a microscope, putting it on a slide like this here and looking at it with a microscope. He made a drawing of it, but then his daughter told him that he could use his iPhone to take a photo of it. This was the drawing that he did first of all. And this was the photo he took with his iPhone, with the camera pointed into the eyepiece of the microscope. He took this photo here. Your task is to identify the algae so that you can use its biological name to search for more research about it and if it can be used as a feedstock. But for this activity, you must try to do this without using the tool known as a dichotomous key, because this activity is designed to show whether we actually need such a tool or not. And if you can get this job done pretty well without any kind of dichotomous key or any such thing, then why do we even need it? So you have 25 minutes to find the answer, and your time starts now. I want you, when you're finished finding the answer, or trying to find it at least, to outline your strategies and to share possible answers with me on a private Google Hangout. And then we will move to another activity where we would look at how the dichotomous key could actually be used to identify this algae. And in learning how it's used, we would understand how to construct our own key. And then I would provide you with a list of organisms and ask you to construct a simple dichotomous key.